Hello everyone, welcome back to the sponsored reading of Bottoms Up. Let's continue with the story. Hey guys, look, this is from the trailer. The rain intensified as the two continued to talk. Drago started to get worried and before long asked to leave. Hurien sent him away without much objection. Yeah, go, leave. They had already hit a bottle of Wormwood wine anyway, as well as pretty much all of his smoking stars. Oh no, the smoking. It's gone. The peasant ran across the yard, careful not to step in any of the newly formed puddles as the fine drops splashed on his head. On his head, not on him, so it's actually working. Hurien watched him as he disappeared behind the bush beside the well. When he heard the quick slamming of the front door, the old man finally got up from the beaten-up chair and set to work on putting away the two empty bottles. Just before entering the house, he looked thoughtfully at the darkened sky. It was already getting dusk. Well, that's what happens when you drink all day, bro. The sun, invisible at the moment anyway, would soon be at least half hidden behind the horizon. When Hudin came out again, he was carrying a beautifully made rectangular lantern, all covered with exquisite ornaments. Even the bars on the four sides were woven together in an unusual way, forming multiple, at first sight, unrecognizable shapes. The man hung the lantern from a beam sticking out of the porch eaves. Then he opened its door and bringing his hand to the inside, snapped his fingers uttering the name of the fierce essence. Flynn. In a split second, a spark appeared at the base of Huding's thumb and forefinger, slid between the two fingers, and reaching the tips of them bounced toward the wick. Oh my god, he's a magician! The magic fuel soaked tangle of threads instantly burst into bright red flame, and flickering shadows scattered all around. Then the old man remembered that he was hungry, and whatever he had been thinking before immediately gave way to the idea of stew. Oh yeah, stew. That left him with no choice but to go and look for something decent to cook it with. The thin sticks he had just put in the fire were not very dry, and so there was a wall whistling around the old and smoked fireplace. Hudin was relaxed on the floor in front of it, casually cutting some vegetables right on a wall three-red table, one of the few remaining pieces of furniture in his makeshift kitchen bedroom. It was an old custom in Hobbsbrook to eat your fill sitting on the ground, so the locals didn't usually set up chairs where they ate. But on the other hand, all drinking and supping appetizers was done at the other kinds of normally high tables, or in the absence of such anywhere a bottle could be placed without falling over. Yeah. When he had finished with the butcher-like chopping, Huding spilled the vegetables into the small folding type cauldron. Goblin made. He had previously hung over the fire to bring the water to a boil. I'm just enjoying the music, sorry guys. It's so nice. Either way, even if he wanted to, he couldn't slice anything particularly well because of his aching hands. Oh no, he's old. A problem due to either his advanced age or his thinking, or as it seemed most likely both at the same time. Actually, no one in the village had a precise idea of what age Hudin was, and there was no way they would. Most of the residents didn't remember or were too young to remember a time when the veteran hadn't lived in this place. And though not all felt positive feelings towards him, or agreed on one thing: he looked quite well for his supposed age, especially compared with the numerous decrepit old men of the neighborhood. Generally, it was known that members of the Order of the Mauners didn't hold much regard for their appearance, but when it came to their military unit, the opposite was true. And Arthur was no exception to this rule. After all, the period spent away from the ways of the order he had previously followed impeccably had greatly dulled his sense of vanity. Every time he leaned towards the fire in order to toss another ingredient into the stew, a yellowish glare ran through his long golden blonde hair, which somehow had not yet turned completely white. Yeah, what type of magic is that? However, that couldn't be said for the beard and mustache in the past, perfectly shaped in a strange way, but now saggy and shortened just so they are not left as they are. As always, Hudin wore an old chainmail vest, repeatedly patched, trousers with metal girts on the knees, and his trusty combat pauldrons, which he refused to part with. I like this guy, he is sentimental. His typical look of a seasoned warrior was complemented by the wrecked tabard, which still bore the hallmarks of the Heorats, the name people gave to fighters serving the Order. The Heorats had been created during the years when the kingdom of the Thaumaturges had nearly been destroyed by the war with the cunning Sanders and his evil underlings. In those dark times, even the most remote corners of the land sent all their able-bodied men to help fight the gathering threat. Even the guys that don't know New Zealand exists, indeed no one had expected this, but during the countless battles, the brave Acolytes of the Order proved themselves to be some of the mightiest opponents of evil there are. The Heliads quickly became the stuff of legend. Their skill, spirit, and unquenchable fervor set them apart from the rest, and the discipline within their ranks and their sincere dedication to the cause of good earned the respect of all who had the honor of meeting them. Artheron always remembered that, and it would never be erased from his memory, even if he lived another 100 years, and his once shining armor grew even more tarnished. Oh no, he's like few 100 years old, oh my god. But even he could not deny that the name of those glorious fighters no longer meant the same as it did back then. Yeah, sadly, no one remembers their heroes by name as they were once. Now there is the Brotherhood, still existed. This is some Assassin's Creed stuff. Under the broad wing of the other New Zealots, or almost New Zealand's, continued to be trained though their function had been modified to the utmost. The war that led to their creation was long over, and they were no longer needed by anyone else except perhaps themselves. The other servants from the guild looked upon them more as a shining relic of the past that they had all seen hundreds of times before, but felt obliged to keep in some dusty corner lest the ideal it symbolized ended up lost with it. Unfortunately, even this mission of theirs seemed doomed to failure. The young disciples in the ranks of the Heirats, in the vast majority of cases, were people who were not at all interested in their cause, but rather saw the benefits they thought they would gain through their membership. Among them there were spoiled sons of all sorts of high-ranking people, the typical country bumpkins, common drunkards, and, well, it can be said that some of the folks weren't honorable, but they usually turned out to be the ones who went into warrior training because they had no other choice. Oh, that's sad that they step on the legend of others like that. Walk! A rather large piece of potatoes passed into the stew. Hudin instantly sharpened his hearing. However, the reason for this was not the sound caused by the vegetable, but some other noise that was heard at exactly the same moment, albeit very faint. Oh, they were trying to trick him, I see. Although the veteran's eyesight was no longer ideal, his hearing was still in near perfect condition. That's good, that's good. He immediately rose from his seat and froze in anticipation. He's gonna get jumped, I bet. Lo and behold, after a few seconds, the noise repeated, even a little more distinctly than last time. It sounded like some kind of thumping and seemed to be coming from somewhere on the southeast end of the yard. Hudin stepped out and quickly lifted the hood over his head. Good thing he managed to find it under the bed. Usually, in the evening when the rain stopped, it suddenly got quite cold. The lantern hanging from the projection beam still burned brightly, though its light seemed only slightly dimmed by the glow of the moon that had shone through a slit in the clouds. These same piercing rays made the wet grass look like it was sprinkled with liquid silver. Although he could find his way without much difficulty, the man decided to take the lamp with him. Oh no, he's going to accidentally burn the windmill, won't he? No doubt he will need it in a little while, for he was going to the old mill. Inside was impenetrable darkness. It smelled of mold and dust mixed with other hardly recognizable odors. Usually even the light breeze managed to move the blades of the mill, so the rusty mechanism was forever cracking. Cracking? It often happened that this ominous sound reached all the way to the house, but at the head, Hudin knew he hadn't heard that a few minutes ago. Nor the whistling of the air currents between the old boards to which he had long been accustomed. Oh no, someone is going to jump him. I'm telling you guys. And in that instant, the old man trembled again. Someone seemed to be stomping their boots on the upstairs floor. Oh, so it's not the spider, okay. The warrior bypassed the grindstone and looked up the hastily constructed staircase winding along the round wall of the mill. It led to the peculiar room where all the parts of the mechanism transmitting the rotation of the cells to the shaft of the grindstone were located. Hudin could hear the noise quite clearly now. Oh no, even I can hear it. It's getting scary here. Some dangling spiderweb waved in front of him just before the last step. Oh. He stopped down to pass under her and took another step. There's someone here! The many cloaks, beams, and ropes mounted around blocked the lantern light, creating a menagerie of bizarre shapes. folding like they were living and running along the walls made of rows of planks. Still, the race managed to reach the somewhat wide open space at the opposite end. Just enough to see the back of a dark figure there, bent over something indistinct in the gloom. A black coal torn in several places, covered it. Hudin began to step slowly toward the silhouette. The one it belonged to was obviously too busy doing something because he didn't notice at all. Go, Hudin, jump him! The old man was already very close. Suddenly, the figure froze in place. I'm scared to continue, guys. Then he turned around in a flash. Jump scare in 3, 2, 1. And only a moment later, groaned Dury, covering its face with its hands. Oh, okay. Waves! Whispered the warrior. The older man slowly dropped his hands, revealing his face. There was definitely something highly unusual about it. Yeah, like his scars maybe. His skin was pale grayish and looked more like a mask that was put over the skull. The face had no expression at all. It was drained out and devoid of any vitality. Several cuts were clearly visible on one of his cheeks. Undoubtedly, to the average person, his interlocutor's appearance would have been horrifying, but Hudin had perceived him as completely normal since a long time. Except for the eyes. Not so often anymore, but they used to give him the creeps. They were perpetually closed. Apparently, Ravis Albert had instinctively shut them before he died. Which Ravis Albert? Oh no, so he's dead. Oh, yeah, I see. Because he really was dead. And had been for many years now. So Hudin is visited by a past ghost. He existed only as a shadow of his past, like the hull of a long sunken ship that still lay at the bottom of the world of the living. Time continued to corrode it from the outside, yet it would never reach the inside where his unshakable essence lurked. Precisely because of this, a closer look at his face would have revealed that he was probably a handsome young man of no more than 23 years of age in his lifetime. I love 23, my favorite number after 4. No, 23, then 14 are my favorite numbers. And the tar black hair must always have been so luscious. Didn't you hear me coming over here? Asked Hudin, lowering the lamp a little so as not to disturb his friend. Oh, that's his friend, oh my god. Okay. I hadn't told you this before. The other began stepping slightly to the side. But lately my hearing has begun to change. Not that I can hear any less, but the sounds are kind of strange. Is that a good voice? I hope so. And sometimes I have a hard time recognizing them. Maybe it's because you don't have any ear cells left at all anymore. Wasn't that supposed to be a line from Hudin? I don't know. The young man nodded slightly and turned back to what he was doing. Okay, so Hudin says, maybe it's because you don't have any ear cells left at all anymore. And making such a rattle. Hudin sounded more reproachful than he meant. I can hear it from as far as my room, you know. Rouse didn't move his gaze. Apparently you've become too sensitive lately. By the way, sorry I didn't come to the house right away. I figured I was passing by here anyway, might as well bring something else. The older man looked around. A sack of unknown contents 3 pouches of smoking herbs a crate of apples, a large jar of rose hip marmalade, a mysterious clay pot, and at least a few bottles were scattered around the house. I see that the order is large this time too. One of them was going to celebrate a birthday, maybe. It had already dawned on him that Ralph was trying to tie up one of those leak-proof leather bags that resembled a water skin, which were often used around these parts to store various liquids. "Let me help you." The old man set the lantern down, walked closer to his comrade, and pulled the note from his hands. At that moment, a pungent but familiar smell slipped from the bag. Houdin began to tuck and curl the ropes deftly, wishing he had another hand so he could hold his nose as well. "Drago's cheese?" "Yes! I didn't want to screw over the good man again, but he makes the best cheese in the village." Oh my god, poor Dragon. "You know they'll be disappointed if I offer them something else." "And what did you do with Toropcho?" "Oh no, Toropcho is dead, isn't he?" The dead man snorted with a sneer. "I put some fodder mixed with nitrate into his bowl." "Stop going like that, I know what I'm doing. Just had to do my job in peace. I don't want that instance from some time ago to repeat." "Okay, so Top 3 is alive. Don't worry, guys." Hurin sighed, but kept his mouth shut. "Forget about the pig. Let me tell you what happened today. You know last time they asked me for some winded sausages, right? I went to the butcher, but his were not yet dry as they should be, and it would be nice to provide them with some homemade produce, so I had to." "Look, Dolores." The warrior threw the finely untied sack on the ground. "You must have assumed I called you for a specific reason." "Honestly, I was hoping you just wanted for us to talk a little." For the first time since the conversation began, the boy smiled. The old man, however, seemed to have noticed the smile a little too late, and for a second had wondered what to reply. The dead man's expression was sometimes not easy to read. But the music is okay. Still smiling, Quirrell stood up and leaned against the wooden wall. "Tell me what's going on." Hurin tried to choose the right words in order to not sound too worried. "Well, I'm sorry. Well, the thing is that the situation in the Wakale has started to get complicated. I don't know if it made an impression on you, but I have observations." "What type of observations, bro?" "That the cheese is gone and Dragon noticed it, or—" "Our neighbors, who for some time now have begun to seek me out about all sorts of magical nuisances, are increasingly complaining about the thefts. I'm afraid I won't be able to blame the Maroks forever." He blames the ants or whatever they are. "Gossipers talk about among themselves. Doubts are emerging." Also, Hyudin is playing a double game, I see. "With time they will become more vigilant and the danger for you, for both of us, will grow." There's no authority at the end of each sentence. I hope he and Hyudin actually listens. "So you're telling me that the people around here again didn't turn out to be as stupid as we hoped?" "Yeah, imagine that." "There is one more thing. Since the problem is supposedly clear, they keep pressuring me to solve it. What if they realize, quite rightly, that I'm lying to them or just stop tolerating me? I wouldn't be surprised if one day they come to visit me again, only this time all at once, and with sharp sticks in their hands. Oh no, he has to kill them all then. The young man had stopped shaking his head, which meant he was thinking. His silence lasted about a half a minute more when, maybe I know what is the reason for all of this. We have stayed too long in this village. Am I right? We had never spent so many years in one place before. I started resorting to the same sourcing options for goods too often. In addition, trade has also grown. More orders, more things to steal. I don't particularly like it either. Then why do you accept the offers? Hilding glanced around for that seemingly comfortable enough sack. The meeting had dragged on longer than expected, and he was already looking forward to sitting down somewhere. He started. Am I to understand that we have both started to become popular? That wasn't so big of a hearing voice, but anyway. Ah, yes! In two different worlds, though. He said. Without waiting any longer, the old man relaxed on top of the sack, sinking slightly. From the sound, he figured out that there was obviously walnuts inside. Turns out we'll have to do something. Any ideas? Why don't we just end the scheme? I mean, for a while. Ralph crossed his arms over his chest. We could try it if you want. It's going to bring a lot of strife to my head, but I'll manage somehow. What about the Threats week? How long will the surprise last you? I think I'll be able to make it until at least the next equinox. I don't know where that is, but I guess it's not on that late. Aha, so you've stocked your closet. I guess it is. I guess one of the positive consequences of more sales and a sedentary lifestyle. That reminded me, whatever happens, I'm going to have to run the current errand at least. After all, I promised I can't back out. The bad thing is, I haven't prepared it yet either. Still have one last item to secure. The older man looked at him suspiciously. Besides all that here, I need 2 bottles of wine. I intend to get them from Steam Gun's cellar. Let's hope that there's some of the wormwood wine left. Hildin apparently found himself forced to acquiesce. Good. At least be careful. How else would I be? The warrior had nothing more to add, so he rose slowly from the sack, picked up the lantern from the floor, and started stumbling down the staircase. When he stepped out into the courtyard, he could still hear Ralph's suffering with the goods. Good thing no one in the neighborhood was ever going to bed sober. Oh my god. What a neighborhood that is. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, I guess end of the first chapter here because yeah. Kraj igry sněk. Kraj igry sněk. I don't know. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of this or another video. Goodbye.